Another shooting took place in the United States yesterday, killing at least 6 people and injuring many others. The gunman died from self-inflicted wounds. The shooting occurred at the Molson Coors Brewing Company campus in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The shooting has further raised concerns whether guns should be controlled in the U.S. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Differences among the leaders of the ruling NCP on the proposal of party vice chairman Gautam's appointment as a lawmaker comes into surface as Premier Oli hints to reject the proposal. Government practices drafting laws breaching the customary legal system, ignores the established precedents to fulfill vested interests of particular groups. At least 6 people killed and many others injured at Molson Coors Brewing Company campus in the U.S. city of Milwaukee, gunmen among the dead. And Manchester City comes from behind to defeat Real Madrid 2-1 in the first leg match of the Champions League round of 16 tie. Lyon also defeats Juventus by a solitary goal. Let's begin with the national political updates. The issue of appointing ruling Nepal Communist Party Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam as a lawmaker in the National Assembly has deepened within the party. Although the Secretariat Committee meeting of the ruling party decided to recommend the name of Vice Chairman Gautam for the membership of the upper house, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has hinted not to implement the decision. The Secretariat Committee meeting of the party decided unanimously to recommend Vice Chairman Gautam to be appointed as a member of the upper house. Following the meeting, party spokesperson Narankaji Shrestha informed journalists about the decision.
कार्यदल बनाएर जानु उपयुक्त हुने सन्दर्भमा छलफल भई समझदारी बनेको तर संविधान संशोधन आवश्यकता अनुसार हुनै जान सक्ने संविधानको मर्म र प्रावधान अनुसार अगाडि बढ्न सकिन्छ तर अहिले नै संविधान संशोधनको गृह कार्य गर्न उक्त कार्यदल बनाउने समझदारीलाई अगाडि बढाउनु पर्ने औचित्य आजको सचिवालयको बैठकले देखेन र त्यसकारणले अब कार्यदल छैन.
However, immediately after yesterday's meeting, party chairman and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli telephoned senior leader Madhav Kumar Nepal and said he has the authority to appoint anyone as a member of the National Assembly through the cabinet and can independently take the decision to do so. After the telephone conversation, Premier Oli called senior leader Nepal at his official residence in Balwatar to discuss on the issue. During the meeting, Prime Minister Oli urged senior leader Nepal to consider the circumstances, citing that it would be difficult to retain Finance Minister Yuvraj Khatiwara if Vice Chairman Gautam is appointed as a lawmaker of the upper house. A few leaders close to the Prime Minister informed that he did not make any comments regarding Gautam during the Secretariat meeting. According to a source, Prime Minister Oli has doubted on the nexus between Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal, Vice Chairman Gautam, senior leader duo Nepal and Jalnath Khanal, among other leaders. During the meeting, Prime Minister Oli expressed his discontent with the committee members over the issue. Vice Chairman Gautam also expressed his discontent over the ongoing controversies within the party and urged the party leadership to stop the conspiracy against him. With the outrage from the Prime Minister, the issue has further deepened within the party. The leaders from the Dahal faction have said that if the Prime Minister would take the decision solely using his rights by ignoring the decision of the Secretariat meeting, it would create a negative impact in the party's politics. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister Ishwar Pokhrel and Foreign Minister Pradeep Gyawali, who are of the Oli faction, posted comments in social media regarding the deepening crisis within the party. This also clearly exhibits the ongoing differences among the leaders of the ruling party. The malpractice of making laws to fulfill vested interests of particular groups has flourished, breaching established trials of long-term national interest, social values and norms, and good attitude along with precedents from the Supreme Court. Local legal experts have pointed out the risk of increasing cases of corruption and anarchism in the government draft laws overlooking the Supreme Court's verdicts. Until 1984, the law had prohibited the transfer of Guti lands to any individual. However, upon the proposal from the government, a new law was introduced on 29th of November 1984 that allowed privatizing of Guti lands. Since then, more than half of the Guti lands have been transferred to the name of individuals. The Supreme Court on 24th of January 2008 termed the law of privatizing Guti lands as unconstitutional and established a precedent which did not allow Guti lands to be privatized. However, the government breached the Supreme Court's precedent and proposed to privatize the Guti lands while tabling the Guti bill at the parliament. Following public outrage against the bill, the government withdrew the bill from the parliament on 18th of June 2019. However, the government is currently trying to reintroduce the bill. In case the bill is approved from the parliament, half of the 1.45 million ropanis of lands of 2,331 Gutis will go to the hands of individuals. Likewise, in the bills related to the constitutional bodies like the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority and the National Human Rights Commission, the government has breached the precedent established by the Supreme Court, which clearly exhibits that the government is focused on drafting laws with the influence of vested interest groups. The Parliament is authorized to finalize the legal provision. However, it would be lethal if the government keeps on manipulating the customary legal system with the influence of power, ignoring previous practices and established precedents. We'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. Welcome back. The Nepalese stock market continued to break new records as it registered the highest transaction amount yesterday. A total of 9.909 million shares of 180 companies were traded for 4.15 billion rupees, which is the highest transaction amount so far in the stock history of Nepal. Earlier, on 20th of February, the stock market saw the highest transaction amount of 3.6 billion rupees. Shares of Nepal Life Insurance worth 219.9 million rupees were traded yesterday. The stock index NEPSE surged by 51 points to settle at 1,596 points. All 12 subgroups saw positive trading yesterday. The life insurance group saw the highest increment with 571 points, followed by non-life insurance with 233 points, and commercial banks group with 50 points. And it's time now for the international update. At least 6 people have been killed in a shooting at the Molson Coors Brewing Company campus in Milwaukee in the U.S. state of Wisconsin. Officials say the gunman died from self-inflicted wounds. The attacker was identified as a 51-year-old Milwaukee resident. His motives were unclear. The shooting occurred early yesterday afternoon while hundreds of employees were still at work. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett said it was a tragic day for the city. Speaking at a news briefing shortly after yesterday's shooting, Mayor Barrett described it as a horrific act. Meanwhile, Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales said that the 5 victims were all employees of the brewing company. Morales praised the way the city's police, FBI officers, and firefighters responded to the attack. As the incident unfolded, nearby schools and businesses were locked down. Speaking at the White House in Washington, President Donald Trump offered his deepest condolences to the victims and families in Milwaukee. President Trump described the gunman as a wicked murderer. Molson Coors owns the Coors and Miller beer brands. The company is yet to publicly comment on the shooting. We have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break. Welcome back. Education has been enlisted to be free and easily accessible to everyone in the Constitution of Nepal. However, commercialization and discrimination in education is still in practice. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals of Salyan why hasn't the government been able to stop commercialization of education despite bringing policies that support education to students who are in poverty. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
यो शिक्षा मूलतः हुनुपर्ने गरिबमा आधारित सामुदायिक शिक्षामा आधारित शिक्षा हुनुपर्ने तर जुन यो व्यापारीकरण हुँदैछ शिक्षामा एकदमै निजी स्वार्थ पूर्ति हिसाब अथवा अरु कुनै संस्थागत स्वार्थको लागि हो जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ।
जसले चाहिँ नेपालमा निजी स्कुलहरू स्थापना गरेर काम गरिरहनु भएको छ उहाँहरूको प्रेसरको कारणले पनि यो नीतिले काम गर्न नसकेको हुनसक्छ।
सबैलाई समान तरिकाले लिने जस्तो शिक्षा बनाएपछि अलि गरिबका छोराछोरीलाई पनि पढ्ने सुविधा राम्रो हुने थियो अनि तिनीहरूले पनि पढ्न पाउने थिए।
दरबन्दीको व्यवस्था, त्यसपछि पठन पाठन, अनुगमन जस्तै सबै तत्त्वहरू मेल खायो भने सायद यो शिक्षा पनि संस्थागत विद्यालयभन्दा उच्च रहन सक्छ।
पैसा कमाउने आइडिया जस्तो पैसाको लालचमा आफ्नै स्वार्थमा हिँडेको जस्तो देखिन्छ सरकार, त्यही भएर पनि यस्तो व्यापार गरिरहेको जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई।
अहिले स्थानीय सरकारलाई चाहिँ त्यही छोटा अधिकारहरू पनि दिएको छ। माध्यमिक शिक्षासम्मको चाहिँ शिक्षालाई के गर्नुपर्छ, के अरे व्यवस्थापनको जिम्मा पनि दिएको छ। त्यो व्यवस्थापन सँगसँगै उहाँहरूको अधिकार सँगसँगै चाहिँ त्यसको रेखदेख गर्ने, त्यसलाई व्यवस्थापन गर्ने काम भयो भने चाहिँ पक्कै पनि यो शिक्षा नीति चाहिँ सही सदुपयोग हुन्छ।
नेपाल सरकारले साँच्चीकै गरिब दुखीका जनताका छोराछोरी पीर मर्का बुझेर उनी सामुदायिक विद्यालयमा पढिरहेका छन्, उनको नियम मात्र नभएर कार्यान्वयन गर्नु पर्यो अथवा अनुगमन गरेर सामुदायिक विद्यालयको शिक्षालाई अझ अगाडि बढाउँदा संस्थागत विद्यालयको शिक्षाभन्दा सामुदायिक विद्यालयको शिक्षा अगाडि बढ्छ भन्ने जस्तो लागिरहेछ।
And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. What is the reason for mounting conflict within the ruling Nepal Communist Party? Your options are A, desire of post, B, trend of not accepting each other, and C, lust for power. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Manchester City came from behind to defeat Real Madrid 2-1 in the first leg match of the Champions League round of 16 tie. In the match played at Real Madrid's home ground Santiago Bernabeu last night, the first half ended in a goalless draw. Real missed a chance to open the scoring in the 30th minute as Karim Benzema's header was well saved by City keeper Ederson. Isco finally broke the deadlock by scoring in the 60th minute to give the hosts a 1-0 lead. But City equalized as Gabriel Jesus found the net in the 78th minute. Kevin De Bruyne converted a spot kick in the 83rd minute after City were allowed a penalty kick after Real Madrid's Daniel Carvajal fouled City substitute Raheem Sterling inside the D-box. Los Blancos were reduced to 10 men after Sergio Ramos received a red card for his foul, and Manchester City held on to the lead to seal the 2-1 win. This was the first time City defeated Real Madrid in the Champions League. The second leg round of the round of 16 match between the two teams is scheduled for 17th of March at Manchester City's home ground in Etihad Stadium. French club Lyon defeated Italian club Juventus by a solitary goal in the first leg match of the pre-quarterfinals of the Champions League. Juventus had dominated the match right from the start. However, home team Lyon took the lead in the 31st minute through Lucas Toussaint's goal, which was also the deciding goal of the match. Juventus showed an improved performance with 60% ball possession throughout the match, however, struggled to come up with an equalizer. This is the first time Lyon defeated Juventus in a European tournament. The second leg match between Lyon and Juventus is slated for 17th of March. India and New Zealand are to clash in today's first match in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, while Australia are to face Bangladesh later in the afternoon. The match between India and New Zealand in Melbourne is slated to begin at 9:45 a.m. Nepal time. India leads Group A with 4 points after winning both of its matches so far. In its previous matches, India had defeated Australia by 17 runs and Bangladesh by 18 runs. India will look for a place in the semifinals with a match in hand if it manages to win today's match against New Zealand. India's lineup has been strengthened with 15-year-old Sefali Burma's attacking batting display. Likewise, New Zealand is looking forward to its second win in the tournament. New Zealand had defeated Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in its first match. New Zealand has won the last 3 matches played against India. However, India had defeated New Zealand by 34 runs at the 2018 T20 World Cup. Meanwhile, today's second match between Australia and Bangladesh will kick off at 1:45 p.m. Nepal time. Bangladesh is winless at the tournament so far, while Australia has 2 points so far with a win and a loss. Meanwhile, in yesterday's matches, England thrashed Thailand by 98 runs, while Pakistan trounced West Indies by 8 wickets. And it's time now for our special segment, Glorious History.
On 25th of February 1964, Muhammad Ali, at the age of 22, caused one of the greatest upsets in the history of boxing when he defeated the reigning champion Sonny Liston to take the world heavyweight title. Despite winning light heavyweight gold at the 1960 Olympics and coming to the contest with an unblemished record in 20 fights, Ali was not considered to be in the Champions League. An unconvincing win over Henry Cooper in his previous bout had served to increase doubt in his chances. Muhammad Ali had started boxing at the age of 12 and by 18 had won the light heavyweight gold medal at the 1960 Olympic Games. On 26th of February 1797, the Bank of England printed the first £1 sterling notes in order to help pay for war with France. The banknotes were printed following gold shortages caused by the French Revolutionary Wars. The earliest notes were handwritten and were issued as needed to individuals. These notes were written on one side only and bore the name of the payee, the date and the signature of the issuing cashier. Between 1797 and 1821, the lack of gold meant that banks would not exchange banknotes for gold. But after the end of the Napoleonic Wars, the shortage was alleviated such that notes could be exchanged for an equivalent amount of gold when presented at the bank.
And now, before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Differences among the leaders of the ruling NCP on the proposal of party Vice Chairman Gautam's appointment as a lawmaker comes into surface as Premier Oli hints to reject the proposal. Government practices drafting laws breaching the customary legal system, ignores the established precedents to fulfill vested interests of particular groups. At least 6 people killed and many others injured at Molson Coors Brewing Company campus in the U.S. city of Milwaukee, gunmen among the dead. And Manchester City comes from behind to defeat Real Madrid 2-1 in the first leg match of the Champions League round of 16 tie. Lyon also defeats Juventus by a solitary goal. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.